everybody's got a mask around me. A, B, C, 1, 2, 3. Everybody's got a mask around me. Everybody's got a mask around me. Mom's got a mask. What's that for? She puts it on her face when she walks out the door. Dad's got a mask, looking really silly. Wears it for protection when he's holding baby Willie. A, B, C, 1, 2, 3. Everybody's got a mask around me. Everybody's got a mask around me. And I don't know why I can't hug my grandpa and grandma. And I don't know why I can't give my best friend a high five. Coronavirus has really changed our lives. A, B, C, 1, 2, 3. Everybody's got a mask around me. Everybody's got a mask around me. A, B, C, 1, 2, 3. Everybody's got a mask around me.
Welcome. Welcome those that are here, and welcome you on Zoom. Welcome to our spiritual home, the Unitarian Universalist Church of Tarpon Springs. Our church is located here in the heart of the walkable Tarpon Springs Historic District and is known as the home of the Innes paintings. Right here in our sanctuary are many that we are enjoying. My name is Barbara Kostreva, and I am serving as worship associate today. We are a church of many welcomes, and we offer a warm welcome to all of you who have joined us in person and on Zoom. We're glad you're here. This is a liberal community for all ages, promoting spiritual growth, social justice, and the arts. As such, ours is an active church, and everyone is invited to participate in any of our activities, whether you are a member or not. To learn more about our events, our church calendar is on our website, uutarpon.org, or you can discuss activities with church members or our membership chair, who will contact you if you fill out a contact form. Thank you. For those present with us in the building, we have connection cards available in the pews near the hymnals, and if you fill one out and put it in the offering plate as you exit, either the front or rear, thank you very much. We'll be able to keep in touch with you. One more reminder before our service starts is that we are going to have a congregational meeting in our forum room for those present and on Zoom right after the service. The congregational meeting should start around 11:30. We are happy to have the Reverend Kristina Spaude leading our service today. Music is provided by our music director, Bonnie Whitehurst. During hymns, you are welcome to hum along with the songs. Thank you. Now we will begin our service by lighting our chalice with these words from Leslie Takahashi. We gather as many drops, each winding our own path down life's surfaces and ruts. Here we pull together as a single body, flowing together for a time. Together we are a stream, and at times we are a river. For with our shared force, we can travel toward oceans of meaning and seas of connection.
Our story today comes from Leo Leone. This is the green-tail mouse. In the quietest corner of the Wilshire woods, a community of field mice lived a peaceful life. There were sweet berries, juicy roots, and tender shoots to eat. The winter days were mild, and during the long summer, a cool breeze played softly in the grass. No fox or snake ever discovered the hideout where the little friends had a fine time day after day. One spring morning, a city mouse came passing through. "Tell us all about the city," the field mice asked him. "Most of the time, it's sad and dangerous," he answered. "But there is one wonderful day." "When?" asked the mice. "Mardi Gras," said the city mouse with an air of mystery and importance. That's French for Fat Tuesday. On Mardi Gras, there is lots of music and people dance in the streets. And he told them about parades and confetti, streamers, horns that make funny noises, and masks. "Let's have a Fat Tuesday too," exclaimed the mice excitedly. That very afternoon, they met at the Big Pebble. They all agreed that it would be nice to have a Mardi Gras. "We'll decorate the bushes, we'll have a parade and ball, and at midnight, we'll put on masks." They worked and worked. They cut leaves into ribbons, which they hung on the low branches of trees and bushes. They gathered straw and lichens and petals and made masks of ferocious animals with glittering teeth and fierce eyes. In the early evening, they went to the place they had chosen for the big event. Most of them wore a wig or a hat, and one mouse had even painted her tail green. "I am the green-tail mouse," she said in a squeaky voice. They danced and sang and had a wonderful time until the moon was at its highest point in the sky. Then they disappeared into the dark bushes and put on their masks. From behind the tree trunks and stones, they scared each other with ferocious grunts and shouts and shrieks, and threatened each other with sharp teeth and tusks. Little by little, they forgot they were sweet, harmless mice. They forgot about Mardi Gras and singing and dancing and being joyful. They really believed that they were these ferocious animals. "Wahoo! Wahoo!" yelled the green-tail mouse from the branch onto which she had climbed. Everyone was afraid of everyone else, and as the days went by, the once peaceful community became a place full of hate and suspicion. One morning, they saw a strange and frightening sight. A mouse as tall as an elephant. A giant mouse. At first, they thought that it was a mouse masked as a mouse, But when they realized it wore no mask at all, they were frightened and ran as fast as they could. The mouse ran after them, and since he was not carrying the weight of a mask on him, he easily overtook them. "What are you afraid of?" he said. "Have you forgotten what a real mouse is like?" "But you are the tallest mouse in the world, a giant mouse," the others said, still out of breath. The mouse laughed. "Nonsense," he said. "If you take off those silly masks, you will all be giant mice." Timidly, they removed their masks one by one, and they realized that the mouse had been right. It was good to see themselves again. Real mice, not afraid of one another and eager to have a happy time. That night, they decided to build a big fire and burn all the masks. "This is better than Fat Tuesday," they said, as the masks turned into ashes and sparks of many colors rose into the sky. By the time the fire had died out, no one would ever have suspected what had happened, for everything was the way it had been before. Except for the green-tail mouse. She just couldn't get her tail clean. She tried the rain and the water in the stream. She scratched and nibbled. She finally gave up. And when someone asked her why she had a green tail, she would shrug her shoulders and simply say, "I was the green-tail mouse at Mardi Gras." "What is Mardi Gras?" the other would ask. "That's French for Fat Tuesday." And she would tell about parades, streamers, and horns that make funny noises. But she never said a word about the ferocious masks. They were tucked far away in her memory, almost forgotten, like a bad dream.
Now is the time in our service where we take our offering for the work and welfare of this church. Ours is a free faith, and for it to remain so, the church is also self-sustaining financially. Please go to our website, uutarpon.org, and click the donate button. Or you may mail your offering to the church at 57 Reed Street, Tarpon Springs, Florida, 34689. For those of you with us in person, we ask that you place your offering in the offering plates as you exit the church. Thank you very much for your help.
Our reading today comes from Jeffrey Herbert. This is New People Came This Time, in recognition of National Coming Out Day, which was this last Monday. New people came this time, and we shared our stories, the familiar truths about shock and healing and being glad that at last our children can say who they are. And we know them now, love them more. Funny stories and good news ripple around, and smiles about lesbian ways, and jokes against ourselves, taking the masks off to show some donkey faces underneath, a communion of laughter. And several dawns once more lit up among us, the sharpness of beginning sight, a slower sunrise over the years, other eye openings, painful or proud, all good, a communion of wisdom. But this time, we nearly wept with the blinding new hurts, winced with what we thought had been healed, old wounds waiting. We put the tissue box in the middle and passed it around, a communion of tears. We all wear masks at times in our lives, and not just the ones we now have on our faces, important as these are and grateful as I am to see you wearing them. There are, of course, all kinds of masks: surgical, gas, Halloween, masquerade, sleep, clay, mud, peel-off facial masks, CPAP, ritual, sock, and buskin, the comedy and tragedy masks symbolizing theater from ancient Greece. And they can all serve all kinds of purposes. Maybe you are familiar with the Greek theater masks. It is believed that mask wearing in theatrical performances came from religious tradition of wearing masks in rituals, honoring various gods, eventually becoming particularly connected with the god Dionysus. Dionysus is known by many as the god of wine, but this is a simplistic understanding. He was, truthfully, the god of transformation. So more accurately, he would have been the god of turning grapes into wine. Masks then empowered players in the Greek theater to demonstrate the act of transformation that characters often experienced over the course of plays, especially in tragedies, and for the actors to take on these roles. They were often large, which offered the benefit of that people throughout the theater could see them better. The masks were often like helmets covering the head and then having enlarged features. Because of the way they were designed, they often allowed some additional voice amplification. In massive theaters, some of which held upwards of 15 or 17,000 people at a time, this was important. The expressions helped viewers identify the roles that were being played, helped people follow the story better at times. Authors used this to their advantage to engage their characters in unexpected transformations. And another benefit of using masks was that they allowed different people to play different roles. They could easily portray another gender or age, or allow the same actor to switch between characters in different scenes. This was very common, as ensembles were often limited to only 3 speaking roles. Where there were staple, stereotypical characters, masks could be reused too among different performances, so long as they lasted, and helped orient people to who a character was without much introduction. Masks allowed for accessibility and flexibility in production in these ways. The use of masks like this relied on the actor to make the characters come to life. They would use their voices and bodies to convey themselves in ways that faces might have otherwise. Think of needing to tilt your head instead of being able to raise your eyebrows, or gesturing instead of a glance. Masquerade masks were also popular a couple of millennia later throughout Europe. It's believed that the practice of mask wearing came out of religious-related traditions as well, those associated with the celebration of Carnival. The practice goes back hundreds of years and was a public event marking the final days before Lent begins, ending on Mardi Gras, or Shrove, or Fat Tuesday. It was a time of celebration and partying with music and dances, performances, entertainment, gambling, and occasions for indulgence in food and pleasure. Although at first Carnival was only officially acknowledged on Mardi Gras, it was typically celebrated for at least 2 weeks before Lent, and sometimes even from December 26th until Ash Wednesday. In Venice, Carnival had significance not only for the festivities that took place, but because the masks and costumes people wore as part of the celebrations, and are still famous today. This was the one time every year that people of the lower classes were given freedom and anonymity to mingle with the upper classes, to mock authority and the aristocracy, and to experience a leveling of the social divisions they were not otherwise entitled to. It was a time of fun and revelry and drew people from across Europe. Over time, the parties and performances became wilder. Another effect arose from what became increasingly elaborate masking and costuming: the rise of crime, including theft, carrying weapons, and basically anonymous gambling, where unidentified people could game and be untraceable to their creditors. And Halloween, too, of course, has its own history with masks. There's the obvious dressing up as hero feature that has become popular over the last few generations, but it has a much longer and not as friendly history. Into the early 20th century, Christians wore masks and costumes on Halloween as a way to both ward off death as well as engage it. And pagans have worn them as a way to ward off evil spirits. Like the masquerades of Venice, people also used their masks and costumes to play tricks and pranks on each other at times. Crime actually became so problematic at one point that parties and the holiday began to be shut down here in the US until around the time of World War II, when Halloween was recast as a holiday for children. Over the course of the last century or so, Halloween has been amplified by US American culture. While masks were previously intense and frankly terrifying, they became more of an opportunity to be heroes, beginning with the likes of Mickey Mouse, Popeye and Olive Oyl, and Little Orphan Annie. Some also took the opportunity to faux experience what it was like to be on the margins, to be homeless people or pirates or any number of other identities. I have been struck at how often mask wearing, and costumes seem to correlate frequently with the bringing together of two worlds, between humans and gods, between different classes or parts of society, between life and death. Masks represent the power of either bringing an opposite closer or being able to pass on to the other side, or letting the other side pass on to us. Halloween, masquerades, and other celebrations that have involved mask and costume wearing have a tradition of inviting us to consider ourselves as something or someone different. Someone we admire for some reason or another. Maybe we admire their strength, their adventurousness, their wisdom, their humor. Having an opportunity to emulate our heroes can let us practice leaning into those qualities that we want to cultivate for ourselves, as if somehow taking on another's persona will give us some power to be more like them, mixing that wonder and magic that has been a part of mask-wearing tradition for millennia. For some, Halloween being a chance to turn convention and social norms on their head appealed very much to those who were on the margins, those exploring their gender identities and sexualities were allowed this one night of the year to experiment and dream about their lives and their selves. Which begs the questions, what are the masks all of us wear in our lives? When we celebrate holidays and occasions, we put on literal masks and costumes, but we often do this in our daily living as well, even if we don't think of it this way. We get dressed in suits and ties, blouses and skirts, and head off to face a day in corporate America, a place that cultivates mask wearing like few other places in my experience, or some business or professional practice. We put on happy faces in our work environments. We keep seeking for wealth and status to keep up with the Joneses or the Kardashians or the Martha Stewarts or whoever else we're wanting to be like. These are all examples of mask wearing. Or we may be like Robin Williams, Marilyn Monroe, Anthony Bourdain, or any number of other famous people who were brilliant and talented people who struggled with mental health issues. They wore their masks as best they could until it became too painful for them to continue. As Ram Dass, a famous spiritual teacher and author, had said, in most of our human relationships, we spend much of our time reassuring one another that our costumes of identity are on straight. Many of us have been groomed to be this way from our earliest days, striving to live into the expectations or hopes or dreams that family or whoever had for us. To be like our parents in their professions, to become someone of a more valued profession, to have been a son or a daughter, whichever one you weren't, and on and on. Mask wearing is often named by people with marginalized identities that they had to be in the closet or to pretend not to be gay or bi or trans or queer or whatever their sexual, gender, or affectional identities were. Or they had to pass in white middle-class culture, or struggle with an or misdiagnosed mental or other disability like PTSD or chronic illnesses. But it's many of us. Somehow we get so overwhelmed with messages of shoulds and oughts that we become lost, even to ourselves. This is compounded for younger folks by a poor economy that hasn't allowed the financial freedom or independence of past generations. And then suddenly, or slowly, or both as it happens, something will begin to shift, to change. It's often that we are suffering so much that we reach bottom and realize how we were living in a shell of a person. That our lives were superficial and had no meaning. We realize we've been chasing others' dreams and trying to escape so long, we don't even know what we're trying to escape from or where we're going. In some ways, those Hallmark movies are true, in that people leave to try and make a life and find, when the environment has changed, that they weren't really that happy after all. So what then when the masks come off? Author and activist James Baldwin wrote, "Love takes off masks that we fear we cannot live without and know we cannot live within." I use the word love here not merely in the personal sense, but as a state of being or a state of grace. Not in the infantile American sense of being made happy, but in the tough and universal sense of quest and daring and growth. Love for ourselves or love from others may propel us. It may be impossible to return to life as it was as we begin the work of discernment and coming to terms with who we are. We have to dig deep and be vulnerable and real. Practice being the people we want to be. We begin the work of transformation, bringing ourselves closer to another part of us we want to show the world. While the masks may have allowed us some sense of power of freedom, of adventure. It is when the masks come off, not unlike those of the mice in the story, that the work begins of building a life of meaning and purpose. Whether it is by putting on or taking off the mask, may we discover who it was that we were meant to be all along. Bonnie will now sing our closing hymn, which is number 18 in the gray hymnal. What wondrous love is this?
What wondrous love is this, oh my soul, oh my soul. What wondrous love is this, oh my soul. What wondrous love is this that brings my heart such bliss and takes away my pain of my soul, and takes away the pain of my soul. When I was sinking down, sinking down, sinking down, when I was sinking down, sinking down, when I was sinking down beneath my sorrow's ground, friends to me gathered round. Oh my soul, oh my soul, friends to me gathered round. Oh my soul, to love and to all friends I will sing, I will sing. To love and to all friends I will sing. To love and to all friends who pain and sorrow mends, with thanks unto the end I will sing, I will sing. With thanks unto the end I will sing.
Our closing words today come from Jean Harrison Newyar, who has written in The Gift of Faith. In the lore of ancient China, there's a story of a philosopher who was asked, "Where is the road called hope?" He replied, "It does not exist, but as people move forward upon it, it comes into being." I invite you to continue moving forward on this road, this path called hope with me. And now Bonnie will sing Spirit of Life, number 123 in the gray hymnal.
Spirit of life, come unto me, sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion blow in the wind, rise in the sea, move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice. Roots hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me.
We're glad that you joined us today, whether here in person or on Zoom. We hope that you have found meaning in today's service. And we close with these words from Elizabeth Sully Jones. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Gentle reminder, there is the congregational meeting after the service here in the forum room and on Zoom.
I know it's on your mind, it's okay to ask. I know you want to know, why do people wear masks? People wear masks so they don't get sick. It covers up your nose and mouth so germs can't get in. People wear masks to protect others too. It stops germs from spreading from me and you. I wear a mask so I protect you. You wear a mask so you protect me too. We both want to keep bad germs away, so I can go to work and you can go play. People wear masks so they don't get sick. It covers up your nose and mouth so germs can't get in. People wear masks to protect others too. It stops germs from